Hey guys, what is going on? My name is Tom Spark. Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about the top 5 VPNs for 2023. We've picked out my top VPNs out of around, 50 plus VPNs. Hey guys, you might be wondering, why should I trust this random guy called Tom Sparks? Who the fuck is that? Well, there's a couple good reasons. No sponsored ads here on the channel. I don't have ads on any of my YouTube videos. I have a rating system that has been developed over 5 or 6 years, developed with my community found on Discord, which you can find up here. I think those are good reasons to stick around. So guys, first of all, one of my top VPNs is going to be TorGuard VPN. Now, TorGuard VPN is one of the top rated VPNs here on the channel, primarily because it's so affordable. You could get it as low as actually like $5 a month. You just want to click on my link in the description down below and use promo code TomSpark2023. It really kind of depends on what you want to use a VPN for when it comes to VPNs. TorGuard VPN is kind of like the VPN you pick if you want something that's super cheap. You don't really need to unblock streaming really that much. You just want a really fast, reliable VPN that's been around for a long time. As you can see, if you use promo code TomSpark2023, you can get it for around $5 a month or $30 a year if you pick one of these plans. TorGuard has so many different bundles that it can be kind of confusing for some people to pick. But if you're a basic user who just wants to torrent and stuff like that, pick the basic plan. If you want to get something like streaming compatibility, which means you can unblock streaming services like Netflix and those things to get access to new regions, well, that is what the streaming bundle does. And then you can kind of learn about the other things as you kind of improve in your VPN knowledge. If you don't know what they are yet, don't even worry about it. The core plan is fine for most people. So this is the top rated VPN on the channel due to the combination of speeds, security, and pricing. You really can't find a cheaper VPN than this one for really what it gives you, and that's why it's the top rated VPN here on the channel. But that said, TorGuard is not necessarily perfect. There is some jankiness to the PC application, although I do like the mobile applications a little bit better. And some other VPNs have a little bit more intuitive streaming compatibility, which means they work better with some streaming services. And they have some checkmark things a little bit better than TorGuard perhaps. TorGuard specifically does really well when it comes to the budget. And they also have a really good compatibility with a lot of different options. I actually recommend using some of their proxy plans. They have it kind of here at the top. For specifically people in censored countries like Iran, if you use code TOMPROXY on this, you could use stuff like V2Ray and all sorts of different proxy technologies. TorGuard probably has the best state-of-the-art unblocking technology in the world, I would say, when it comes to unblocking internet in places like Iran and China. So it's really good at stuff like that. But if you're looking for a different VPN perhaps, well, there's also a couple different options. Now, Hide.me is my second rated VPN here on the channel. It's a very good VPN for its affordable price, $95 for 3 years, and 10 simultaneous devices is very good. Hide.me streaming compatibility works within its product line, which means that you don't really need to mess around with those streaming IPs. It's a little easier to use in that way. This is what it looks like, pretty simple. You got a wide variety of different settings to configure as well. So that's really nice. Overall, very easy to use VPN, and it's definitely good. It's also audited, which is nice. It gets some more of those on-paper things. TorGuard has not been audited yet in terms of a third-party audit. Hide.me was one of the first VPNs to be audited. Just because a VPN doesn't have an audit doesn't mean it's not trustworthy. And in fact, TorGuard did go to court to prove it does not collect logs. So that might even be a little bit better than just an on-party third-party audit. But Hide.me definitely is a transparent VPN. And it does really well in that kind of section. Although, TorGuard does well there too. Mainly, both of these applications don't have trackers on their websites, any trackers on the applications, which isn't always the case for VPNs, and they don't use Google Analytics either, which is nice. But why should you go for Hide.me instead of TorGuard? Well, the 3-year plan is pretty good, and it's going to be cheaper than TorGuard's streaming bundle plan. So primarily, I would go with Hide.me if you really value a third-party audit and you want a little bit more stream compatibility, but you don't necessarily want to pay more. The only caveat with Hide.me is that it's a little slow for me. It's not quite as fast as TorGuard. I get much faster speeds with TorGuard, but depending on where you are, you might not find that. So it could be worth trying out and getting a refund if your speeds aren't good enough. I've heard from some people the speeds are fine. I've heard from some people that, TorGuard always is the fastest for them. So it's something to think about. But again, not a bad option here. Next up, we could talk about Proton VPN. Now, Proton VPN is probably one of the more popular options you might hear about. Proton definitely has its own share of issues, I would say. It's not as highly rated as the two VPNs prior. I don't have any discount codes for them either, which means the price is definitely going to be a bit more pricey. We're going to convert that into USD. Right now, it seems like they might have some kind of sale going on. It's around, it does seem to be, okay, well, it's around $72 a year. And then 12 months, they don't put the bulk price. That's kind of annoying. I think this is actually kind of like a new pricing page so $122 for 2 years. It's going to be more expensive than both Hide.me and TorGuard. The thing is, with Proton, you might be paying a little bit more for that marketing price. You know, they are very heavy on telling people they're based in Switzerland and protected by Swiss privacy laws. Although I wouldn't put too much credence in that. Just because the VPN's based in the USA or somewhere like that, or Malaysia like Hide.me, doesn't mean it's not secure. And in fact, most places that aren't stuff like Iran and China have pretty good privacy laws to protect companies from just handing over information willy-nilly. It is open source, which is a cool thing that TorGuard and Hide.me don't have. You know, TorGuard might be better with the unblocking technology. It's state-of-the-art kind of V2 capabilities. But TorGuard, you know, but Proton is more transparent, maybe with the open source model. TorGuard says it can't be open source, it to be as effective as it unblocking things. Proton hasn't put as much effort into that unblocking technology. They have tried to push that stealth technology more lately, but I don't think it's as effective as what TorGuard is doing. That said, if you don't need that, you might appreciate that transparency of being open source. It's a big thing in the privacy community. It's also third-party audited as well. A lot of people that like Proton VPN really like to get invested in its ecosystem. It's got a very good kind of suite of apps like Proton Mail, Calendar, and Drive. Although I still find to this day that even any of these encrypted email applications, whether that be due to just the way the filters work or something, they're still not as intuitive and easy to use as something like Gmail. So keep that in mind when you are paying for products like this. There is some kind of cost to using some of these things. You know, you might want to just use the free versions. For example, you have the free version available from Proton Mail that you can use. Same with Skiff. So overall, Proton, another solid option. I don't have any promo codes, but you could click the link in the description down below if you want to purchase Proton VPN. Lastly, we have something called NordVPN. Now, NordVPN is probably the most marketed and one you might be most familiar with if you know anything about VPNs, or even if you don't, you might have known about NordVPN. It's going to be more expensive than any options prior, really. Also, it's not going to be quite as transparent and privacy friendly in terms of the back end. You know, it has some trackers on its website. It's more like markety and kind of corporate feeling as a VPN. But the good thing about NordVPN as a whole, it's pretty good as a VPN. It competes probably with TorGuard the most in terms of its speed potential. You're going to get really good speeds here. And they're really good at unblocking streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, BBC iPlayer, and some of those things like HBO Go. You could probably unblock the most regions of Netflix with NordVPN. So that's definitely an interesting proposition if that's really what you want to do with a VPN. They also have a pretty good application. It's extremely user-friendly. Probably out of most of them, it's one of the most user-friendly ones, I would say. So definitely a decent choice. You're just going to have to be kind of mindful of, you know, your subscription and stuff like that. Sometimes they have sales and stuff, so you might kind of need to keep an eye on your subscription. I know that sometimes after your term runs out or something, you might need to cancel it and buy a different plan, depending on what kind of deal you want to lock in. But like I said, the description down below should give you the best current ongoing deal to help you pick that, because it can be kind of confusing finding the best current deal going on with Nord, because they always are having some kind of deal going on. So clicking on the link will be your best way. So guys, I hope that makes sense. Those are my top VPNs here on the channel. Wide variety of options. We have TorGuard, probably the best budget option. It's also a very solid option in terms of speeds and unblocking technologies. Very good VPN. Hide.me, it kind of gets eclipsed by TorGuard in terms of its speed and blocking technology. But as a whole, it's a decent VPN with a good price, good at unblocking streaming services, easy to use, and pretty transparent and privacy friendly. After that, we have Proton and Nord. Proton is probably the most on-paper transparent VPN with open source capability, audits, and it likes to brag that it's based in Switzerland. So if you like that and you want to dive deep into a full ecosystem, Proton is a good choice. Lastly, we have Nord, which is probably the best VPN here at unblocking streaming services, and worldwide speeds are really, really good with Nord. So think about that. Anyways, guys, I hope that video helped you. I'll be putting a link in the description down below for all these VPNs. Usually those links activate some kind of discount, so make sure to use those links, and it'll also help support the channel. This video is not sponsored by any of these VPNs. These are VPNs I've chosen myself and use on a day-to-day basis. Also, guys, make sure to check out the Discord if you haven't already. You could find that up right here on my website, vpntools.com, where I also update all these rankings all the time. So yeah, make sure to check that and stay up to date.